and home working has come and gone, and generally it is something that employers don't seem to think it works. Because as someone said earlier about productivity, I do believe that people will realise that people aren't as productive working from home on certain things. I do believe you've got to get your head down with no interruptions, that's a good thing. But if you want to be on the phone talking to people and so on and so forth, it doesn't work. You know, BT tried to put everybody into home 5-10 years ago. They've stopped all that. So I'm not sure what they think is going to change, you know.
Mark, you and I talk about it quite a lot when we talk about the types of work we're doing in these office spaces and what setup is required for that. So we talk about productivity working from home, and Victoria's touching it. I'm not productive working from home. I'm desperate to get back into the office, but I'm desperate to get back into the office for that isolated time, where the flip of that is most people want to work from home for that isolated time when they're away from their colleagues. So I think how that plays out in terms
You just want to get away from your family.
I think for me, you have one choice of setting. I have one choice of setting from home, and it's my desk. Where a well-designed office space or a well-designed flex space has a number of choices of settings. Even within one floor plate, the ability to choose based on conditions, based on task, that is key for me. I know I'm more productive when I can just pick up my laptop and go seek the preferential conditions. And preferential conditions from me as the non-creative here, but it's you creatives and it's the furniture designers and furniture suppliers that create those settings for someone like me to use, you know. So that's the key for me going forward is the choice, control, and not just the choice between home and office, but your choice of the environments within the office.
Yeah. There's been Mark thinking that you were talking from the gym.
It's many things here. This is my guest room, my gym, my spare room, my office.
You won't get away with that when you're married, mate.
Yeah, this will be the dressing room.
But it's a really good point, Mark. And I think coming back to some of the research that Gensler has done, which was quite surprising actually, millennials don't want to work from home. They don't want it at all. They want to be with people, they want to have different settings, they want to be able to move around. So, and that's a generation that's coming through. So we know that we're not going to go back to the offices and the home working. But just in terms with the client we've been working with, that we were due to get an order and the whole thing fell away off the cliff like most of them did. And we were working with our fit-out partner as well, and there was a major piece of fit-out to do. And they called and said, we're not doing it, we're just reviewing our strategy. And they had 50 people that work in a call centre. There's 120 people in total, 50 of them worked in a call centre. And when we were first looking at the project, they were calling it agile, but said obviously the call centre staff can't be agile. Now they've realised that the call centre staff can work remotely because they are doing from home. So their strategy now is they're selling the head office that we've been looking at refurbishing. That's going. They're going to get the cash. They're going to keep hold of the cash, and they are going to expand their business. And they want to open up local hubs. Yeah. And what they want is an experience within those hubs. So they're going to offer flexibility of working for the teams, so they can work from home when they need to or want to, but they want an experience when they come into that space. They're not calling it an office, they're calling it an innovation hub. They want people to come together and they want to develop ideas. Now, what's been interesting is they don't want any fit out. They're not building walls. The walls are going to come from acoustic products, acoustic curtains, storage solutions with acoustic products on the back of it, so they can have the zones, but they want it to be open. They don't want any closed, no meeting rooms, no boardrooms. They've shifted completely in 6 months from being, there's a boardroom, there's 3 meeting rooms, that's the HR department, that's the call centre. It's turned it on its head completely. And that's been quite a revelation, actually. And I'm really enjoying working with this client because they're thinking differently now. They're not thinking in the same way that they always had done.
It's
And
amazing.
they're looking at the millennials and they're saying, these are the people that are coming through. This is what they want. It's not what we want anymore. It's what they want, because we need innovation. We need to move forward. So
That echoes Situ's
that's been a big
comments
thing.
as well. Yeah, that's Situ said the same. Hub and spoke model of probably going to start taking the lead and taking the change. But I think, you know, Jacqui, that's like a common misconception that millennials want to beanbags and have laptops and all that kind of stuff, but millennials don't. You know, the research that I did with CBRE, I remember them doing a huge millennials want to be with their senior members of staff. They want to be absorbing information. They want to be able to see and learn and absorb and do as much as they can. So you're right, I think, and what an amazing transformation for the client you're working with, because it's going to broaden how a call center works. Like, you know, all the contact centers and call centers that we all, you know, have had previous experience with working. It'd be amazing to see how that can adapt. It'd be what a transformation as well.
To coin your phrase, Jacqui, that I first heard from you, that is the third space becoming the first space.
It's the third space. That was what WeSpace was all about. It's about those third spaces. Get people together. Get innovation happening. That's the only way that it happens. Not like this.
Guys, just before lockdown, obviously in the last 2 or 3 years, we've seen a big rise in the likes of WeWork and other what I call co-working spaces. I just wonder what your thoughts are on how they will cope with the post-pandemic environment, and whether we'll see the continued growth of the new serviced offices, as it were, or whether that will start to go backwards. I'm interested to know what's going to happen.
Off the back of one of our previous calls with Situ and the other knowledge share, they've talked about rolling technology out into those spaces and them spaces becoming bookable. So if you're moving into one of those types of spaces, you could already pre-book your desk, or if you're short at going into the office, you can see who's around, who you can go and collaborate. So it sounded like those spaces are going to continue and actually be a good model to roll out.
But the problem is, though, Robin, is that it's like restaurants, isn't it? All these co-working spaces rely upon the volume of people, and the more people they get in there, the more money they make.
Yeah.
So if they're restricted on the number of people that it's safe to bring into any given space, will that model still stack up? That business model still stack up?
Very true.
Yeah, we actually have space in Leeds in a Bruntwood shared space, 18 floors, is it 16 floors platform, and we've not been back in for the reasons that we work in a very small office and we can't open the windows either. We're only on the 2nd floor, so we can walk up and we can walk down, but the people probably on the 16th floor are not going to be happy about walking upstairs. So I think they've put into place you know, you can go up in the lift, but you have to walk down the stairs. But they put more sanitization stations in there, so people have to, you know, kind of sanitize their hands more often. They put a traffic light system for the toilet, so if it's red, somebody's in there, for example. And the co-working spaces have been closed throughout this whole period of time, whilst they understand what's happening and work it all out. So is it dead? I don't think it's dead. We'll definitely go back into that space when we know that it's safe to do so.